a required acceptance on your screen that we are now recording. And this will be available for everyone to see and share on YouTube after today if you want to share this with other club members. So just a couple reminders as we get started today. As I mentioned, we will make this available. All participants are muted. We will be using the chat, and Abby will be monitoring the chat throughout our conversation today. So welcome. I am Jenna Hoyt, Ashtabula County 4-H educator, and with me is our program assistant, Abby Averill, as well. So we're excited to have you here today, and we have some special guests with us as well that we will introduce here in a little bit. So first, we will get started. There we go. With our pledges, we're going to go over some enrollment reminders and updates. We've got a couple of videos to share with you today. And then the exciting part, the educational piece of today's meeting will be our conversation, and we'll be highlighting the bald eagles of Ashtabula County. And we have some special guests with us, as I mentioned, and we'll get to kind of see a bald eagle up close and personal as well. So we'll go ahead and get started, and I will lead us in our pledges today. So if you'll please remove your hats, and I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And if you'll join me in the 4-H pledge. I pledge my head to clearer thinking, my heart to greater loyalty, my hands to larger service, and my health to better living. For my club, my community, my country, and my world. Thank you. So first, I just wanted to share with you a couple of highlights and kind of an inspirational quote that our state 4-H leader shared with us. Life is not about waiting for the storm to pass, but learning to dance in the rain. And I hope we can all embrace that this year. 2020 was definitely quite the storm for all of us. And so it's time that we pick ourselves up and we look at our program and we start moving forward for 2021. So I invite you to come and dance in the rain with me. And I'm excited to join with all of you as we move forward with this program. With that being said, I want to share with you some of kind of the highlights across the state of Ohio in regards to our 4-H program for 2020. So you see here on your screen our impact report, if you will, from across the state. So you can see some of the participation numbers. We had over 63,000, almost 64,000 clubs across the state. There were 18,619 participating in our school programs. And I guess that's 63,000 participating in club programs. In our camping program as well across the state. You can see the breakdown of statistics there in regards to first year and total members. And camping blocks.
You're cutting in and out. So everybody's getting a lot of feedback. Maybe mute yourself and bring it back.
Give me 1 second. All right, are we any better? Yeah? Okay. All right, I muted myself and unmuted myself, so let's try that again. Perfect, thank you guys. All right, so we'll keep moving on. Some reminders for this year. We are kicking off the year in kind of a hybrid mode. This is the same slide that was shared with you back in January as well. Clubs can now meet again. However, you are limited to
You tried it one more time. Oh.
All right, does this one work any better?
Can hear you now. We'll see how that goes.
See how it goes. Okay, I'm at the office, so we'll see how the internet continues to work. I just switched the audio. All right, let's continue trying. Otherwise, Abby, you can take over. All right, so as a reminder, groups of 10 right now, according to the county health department. I encourage our clubs to be very flexible in the way that they're thinking. Can you have a hybrid meeting where some folks are in person and some folks are meeting virtually? Can you stagger your meeting times and locations as well? So the office is open. If you would like to use the downstairs space, you can schedule a time with Kim to use the downstairs space as well. Just remember that you need to follow the distancing guidelines and masks are required, and you cannot have any food at your club meetings. All right, we're going to talk about enrollments because the enrollment deadline is fast approaching. That deadline is March 15th. I know many of you have been playing with the enrollment system. As of today, we have just over about 100 folks that are enrolled. I'm watching the chat here too. So I'm going to share with you a quick video, and hopefully I can figure out my audio at the same time, so I apologize. But I'll share with you a video.
If you were a previous member of Ohio 4-H, check out this quick video for tips on how to re-enroll in the 4-H online system. Youth who wish to participate in Ohio 4-H and approved adults who will be serving as 4-H volunteers and club advisors must enroll in 4-H online every year. Adults who have not been screened and will not be serving as an official 4-H volunteer should not enroll to access 4-H online. To begin the re-enrollment process, visit oh.4honline.com on your internet browser. Begin by entering your family email and password that you used in previous years through 4-H Online. If you do not remember the email address you used previously to enroll in 4-H, contact your county extension office. If you do not remember your password, click the Reset Password option, and an email with instructions for setting up a new password will be sent to you. Please do not set up a new profile. You must log in to last year's profile to continue enrollment. To re-enroll a member from a previous year, click Enroll Now under the Program column next to the member's name. Be sure to update your grade in school and confirm that you want to enroll in 4-H. Next, you'll select your 4-H club or clubs for this year. Then pick the appropriate projects by selecting the blue button. Do not submit your enrollment until you are sure that you have selected all of the projects you will be taking this year. If you need to make changes to your projects after submitting your enrollment, you'll need to contact your extension office to request a change. You may log out and log back into your profile without submitting your enrollment. Just make sure you submit it before your county deadline. If you select a horse, shooting sports, or a dog project, you will automatically be prompted to electronically sign the appropriate project consents for these projects. Type your name in the boxes to affirm your agreement. If you are a Cloverbud member in kindergarten through 2nd grade, select project number 715, My 4-H Cloverbud Year. Continue the enrollment by completing the additional information about your member in the appropriate boxes. The next page will require you to affirm that you agree to the Code of Conduct, the General Permission Statement, and the Ohio 4-H photo release. Finally, you'll want to review your enrollment and hit Submit. Remember, don't hit Submit until you are sure that you have selected all of your projects for this year. You've now successfully submitted your enrollment. If you need to make changes before your enrollment is reviewed and accepted by 4-H professionals, you will need to contact your county extension office to request a change. You can continue re-enrolling other family members by selecting Enroll Now by their profiles and following the same process. If you need to enroll a new member from your family, just select the blue Add Member button at the top of the screen. That's it. You've completed the enrollment process. The County Extension Office will review your enrollment, and you should receive an email sometime soon letting you know that it was accepted. Welcome back to Ohio 4-H.
All right. So let me answer a couple questions or bring to light a couple of things that may have that you may have heard in that video. One, enrollments, of course, are due March 15th. You need to visit oh.4honline.com in order to fill out that enrollment. If you were a member last year, you already have a profile that has been established. So you'll need to use that email that you've been using to receive communications from the office. You will not have a password. So when it asks you to set up your password or to enter your password, hit reset password, and then it'll prompt you through resetting their password and establishing a new one. If you find that you've made an error in your enrollment form, please email me directly at hoyt.88@osu.edu, and I will send your enrollment back to you for you to fix. Advisors will ultimately be approving their rosters before any enrollments are approved. These videos are posted, connected to our website. So if you see here on the screen under information and forms, the videos are linked as well. So it says all enrollment forms are due March 15th. And then underneath right there, click here to learn how to enroll as a 4-H'er. It'll walk you through how to do that.
I was saying in a minute, I'll have it, the link dropped in the chat box.
In the chat as well. Perfect. And then also there's the returning member enrollment help video, and volunteers, there is a help sheet for you and a video for you as well, also linked on our website. And Abby, again, will put those into the chat box. Abby, what other questions are in the chat box right now in regards to enrollments or COVID and club meetings?
So another question that was asked. I'm sorry, I'm getting like a feedback on myself. About when the number of 10 will be changed. Do we think that the health department's going to do it anytime soon? That type of thing.
Unfortunately, we don't have any news to share in regards to the health department's expectations. When I last spoke with him, he stated that he will follow the governor's orders and will only be approving exemptions if they've been given through the State Board of Health or through the governor's office. But we continue to ask and advocate for our clubs to be able to meet, as it is educational. And as soon as we have more information about that, we will be sure to let you know. But please know that is something that we continue to have conversations with them about. And hopefully as the weather begins to warm up, we can get outside and we'll be able to spread out more and be able to have larger group meetings. Other questions, Abby?
We just had one come in about if shooting sports, what's going to happen with them this year?
We have one shooting sports club that is meeting this year. The guidelines and expectations for them have not changed. There are some special requirements, I guess, for our shooting sports clubs with mask wearing and so forth. And the shooting sports volunteers, that information is connected on the Stay Connected page on ohio4h.org. I believe it's page 7 or page 8 in there, where it talks specifically about shooting sports clubs and how you guys can safely meet. Are we all caught up? All right, thank you. Sorry, 1 second. Okay, so on your screen now, you should be seeing some enrollment verification and fee reminders that I just want to share this year, because things are looking a little bit differently advisors, you'll be able to log in and you can see your club roster in your enrollment system. You can see who's enrolled in your club, and then you can see the projects that they are intending to take. At this point, unfortunately, due to some system errors, you cannot approve their enrollments, but you can pull that roster. So what we intend to do is the week of March 15th, after all enrollments have been put in, we will pull that roster for you, and we will send you kind of an invoice, if you will. We'll send you a list like we normally do to verify of who's in your club for this year. We then ask that you submit payment for the enrollment fees by April 15th. So we'll give you a month to go ahead and do that. Of course, if you have any questions or concerns, please just reach out to me. The enrollment fee has not changed. It's $25 per youth. Clover Buds and first years are free, and there's a $50 family max. Of course, if there's any hardship cases, we encourage you to reach out to the office and have a conversation either with the family or with the advisor so that we can help to make sure that that fee is not a barrier to anybody. Oftentimes we're asked why we charge an enrollment fee. What does that fee go for? And those of you that may be familiar, we've had some great summer student assistants, some great summer interns, and that's where the bulk of our enrollment fee is used, is to help with our junior fair and our camp program, and also provide a great learning experience and career experience for an older youth, a teen or a young leader. So the bulk of the money is spent there. It also goes back to cover costs for the office, such as copies and newsletters, also just forms and things like that that we have available at the office. So that's where that money does go. There's more information on our website as well if you're interested in that. So some upcoming events. Ohio 4-H kicked off the virtual 4-H conference yesterday. There was a full day of sessions that were available online. I hope some of you got to attend those. I know I saw on Facebook many of you were involved. There are also sessions that are offered on Tuesday and Thursday next week, so I anticipate seeing more of you then. Our volunteers, don't forget, that does count as part of your volunteer development requirements for 2021. So please let us know what sessions you attended. Ohio 4-H Week is coming up March 7th through 13th. And if you see the background behind me, we are encouraging everybody to find their spark in Ohio 4-H. So once again, we will be partnering with the Gazette, and we'll have an exciting array of articles that will be coming out the week before. And then during 4-H Week, we will celebrate with the 4-H Week proclamation, and we'll also be sharing some different videos from the commercial contest and some other exciting things during that week with the 4-H Advisory Committee. The Ohio 4-H Awards will be happening this year again virtually. We'll be honoring our milestone volunteers, so the volunteers that have received a significant milestone in their volunteer experience. And you can see the Go link there on your screen if you want to register. It'll be all live through YouTube on March 11th at 7 o'clock. That's a Thursday evening. The next Rabbit Clinic is also coming up in March, and our next countywide 4-H meeting will be March 21st at the same time at 2:30. During that time, we're going to do some quick updates, and then we will go into breakout rooms based on officers. So we have some volunteers that have agreed to take different rooms, if you will, and offer some tips and tricks of being a good officer. So this session will be especially important for those club members that serve as officers, whether that's president, vice president, secretary, historian, treasurer, rec leader, whatever it may be. It is going to be a good experience for you. So that'll be coming up on March 21st. All right, the other thing I want to remind you of is just some ways to stay connected with us. Hopefully you're receiving our emails through 4-H Online. You can also find lots of information, of course, on our Facebook page, through Band and Remind, and on our county website. Many of the project guidelines have been updated and are posted. So we hope you can start with the website and find more information there. All right, so if there are any questions, the other thing that I missed at the beginning was to do attendance. Is that what you were going to ask, Abby?
Yeah. Two things.
Yeah, go ahead.
So first, everybody remember that 4-H Online 2.0 is a new system. So if there are bugs, if you have members that are saying, hey, it says that our registration is closed, please send Jenna an email right away. The more we know about that, the better we can try and get these bugs worked out. there's been a lot of weird things happening. So if we don't know about it, we can't fix them. Sometimes that fix is just saying, hey, wait, and go back to it later. But it's nice to know that. And then, yeah, the second thing was the attendance. So.
Yeah, so as Abby mentioned, there are some quirky things with a new 2.0 system. Unfortunately, it's not unique to our county. It's statewide, it's nationwide with this online system. So be very diligent when you're enrolling. Go to oh.4honline.com, clear your browser history, try to use Google Chrome or Mozilla when you're doing that as well. And if you do have any issues, please just reach out to me, or Kim can also help you here in the office as well. We understand that it is frustrating. We're experiencing some of the same frustrations as you are, but some of you are getting right through it and are doing a great job and are not having any issues. So that's exciting too. So go ahead now, put your name and your club in the chat if you would. Many of our clubs are counting today as part of the attendance. So this does take care of the business kind of part of what I wanted to touch base with you all today about. So we can get into the fun part if there's no other questions. Okay, so I'm going to turn things over to Aaron and Michael, and they are going to talk a little bit more about the eagles, the bald eagles here in Ashtabula County. And I'll turn it over kind of to Michael to start. So Michael, I will unmute you and the floor is yours.
Thank you, Jenna. I became involved with bald eagles in about 2005. We'd moved to a house in Kingsville on Conneaut Creek, and it seemed like it would be prime eagle habitat. In 2005, we found a nest within a half a mile of our property, and one that we could observe from a corner of our property. So we started following eagles, and I learned that the ODNR was running a program where they were looking for volunteers to monitor eagle nests. They needed the program because due to pesticides and habitat loss, eagles had become nearly extinct by the late 70s. In 1979, there were 4 eagle nests in Ohio. And in the 80s, ODNR developed a program to try to help reestablish the eagles. Their goal was to get 20 eagle nests in Ohio by the year 2000. And it's a goal that they reached very easily, or very successfully anyway. So our job was to monitor all the eagle nests in Ashtabula County. At the time, there was only 3 or 4 in Ashtabula County, but we were monitoring eagle nests throughout Ohio. And if any eagle nest, if one of the adults became injured or disappeared, or if a bird got blown out of a nest, or if a nest fell down, we were reporting it. And then they would try to pick up the eaglets and put them in another nest with eaglets approximately the same age, so they could still be raised in the wild. At the time, it was considered critical because there were so few birds, they didn't want to lose any. Well, by 2006, when I joined, there was 80 some eagle nests in Ohio. And I checked the census count that we had last year, and there was 707 confirmed eagle nests in Ohio. So you can see the program has been wildly successful, and pretty much anywhere in the state of Ohio, especially if you're around water, you can find eagles if you look. If you keep your eyes in the skies, you can find eagles pretty much in any corner of Ohio. So we started watching the nest. Eagles have they lay their eggs around the 1st of February through the middle of March. There's always a couple nests in Ohio that have eggs by the end of January. Then after they lay the eggs, it takes 35 days for the eggs to incubate before they hatch, during which time they have to be constantly attended by the adults and kept warm. The eggs have to be rolled every few hours so that they are kept warm evenly on every side. And for the first 35 days, there's always a bird on the nest. After 35 days, they start hatching, usually around the 1st of April. For the first 3 or 4 weeks, they can't generate their own heat, so they still have to be tended 24 hours a day by an eagle to keep them warm and to keep them protected against predators. So there's a lot of work for eagles raising these birds. It takes 10 to 13 weeks after they've hatched for the eaglets to be ready to fledge and fly. During this time, the eagles are bringing back food. The adults bring back food to them. They're eating a pound of food a day, the eaglets. And there can be 2 or 3 of them in a nest at a time. So that's a lot of fish to be brought back and a lot of work for the adult birds. Then after 10 or 13 weeks, they're taking their first flights and the eagles are starting to experiment with flying and landing, but they still can't hunt. They still can't fish or fend for themselves. So the adults are still having to provide all the food for them. They're catching fish and dropping them off for them, sometimes at the nest, sometimes just nearby the nest. And they tend the birds everywhere they go. You'll see a juvenile eagle with an adult eagle following around somewhere. And it takes them pretty much until fall before the birds are self-sufficient. Then by the time winter comes and it starts getting cold, the juvenile eagles will disperse and they'll go pretty much wherever they want to. They just start wandering around. They're very social animals, so they congregate in groups. I know at Conneaut Harbor now, you can see 70, 80 eagles at a time in Conneaut Harbor during the summertime if you go there in the mornings. After which time it takes them 4 to 5 years to develop the white head and tail that gives you the classic eagle look. And then that's when they're ready to start having their own families and building their own nests. So really the eagles have no break at all from the end of January when they lay the eggs until the winter time. They get a short break in the winter time, and with a winter like this, it's not much of a break at all. And then they're working on the nest and building it for next year. So they're very industrious birds and work all year long. The ODNR would climb some of these eagle nests, usually when the birds are about 7 or 8 weeks old. And they would grab the eaglets out of the nest, bring them down to the ground, and then we would take measurements, blood samples. Some of them were tagged with tracking devices so that they could see where they flew afterwards. These are pictures of a banding session. You can see the size of the talons, which is the eagle's primary weapon. It has a big beak, but it's the talons that do all the damage. But they take all the measurements and check the health of the eagles and weigh them all. And it's just a way to improve the general knowledge of the species. So it was really entertaining to be able to go. Sometimes we were allowed to carry the eagles and hold the eagles while we're doing it. And you can see at 7 or 8 weeks old, they're pretty close to full grown already. And they'll be full grown before they ever leave the nest and fly. Full grown for an eagle is 12 to 15 pounds with maybe an 8-foot wingspan. Females are about 25% larger than males. So if you see a pair of eagles, one will be noticeably bigger than the other one, and that'll be the female. When the eagles take off, they usually don't return to the nest. They will travel with other eagles and fly. We have eagles that were hatched in North Carolina that come up and they still have their tracking devices on them, and we're seeing them coming up to Conneaut and through Ohio every year. So they fly halfway around the country, the juveniles, just searching for food and just learning how to be an eagle, I suppose. Most of the eagles will return somewhere generally to the area where they were first hatch to build their own nest. With 707 nests in Ohio, there's 90 nests in one county, Ottawa County, which is by Sandusky and the island area in Western Lake Erie. Really fascinating birds, though, and it's really been a privilege to be able to watch them and to learn from them, and for the plan to work out so well, to try to get these birds reestablished, and really it worked out better than anybody could have ever imagined. And it's something that's gone on around the country too now. Eagles that were once endangered are now off the endangered list and are just thriving everywhere in the United States.
Great, thanks, Michael.
You're welcome, Jenna.
All right, so we're going to share a video, and then we will circle back, and Aaron's going to talk a little bit more about our local Eagles, and we're going to play a Kahoot game as well. So I'm going to do another share here, and I want to share with you, a video from, some of you might know that I'm originally from the East Coast, from Connecticut. And one of my really good friends, Beth Kaiser, she has a raptor rehabilitation and education center in Connecticut. And she actually has a couple of eagles, some bald eagles, and also a golden eagle as well. Now, in order to have a bald eagle, of course, or any sort of falcon, hawk, you have to have special license to do that, of course. And Mary Beth has that, and she runs this aviary and also provides rescue opportunity and also does a lot of educational programs. So with her permission, I want to share with you Mary Beth and one of her eagles, Adka.
Hi, I'm Mary Beth Kaiser from Horizon Wings, and this is ATCA. A little bit about who we are, what we do. We are a nonprofit group for the rehabilitation of birds of prey. ACA is one of our ambassadors, our educational ambassadors. ACA is a 10-year-old bald eagle. He came from Washington State, where he sustained a shoulder injury, which leaves him unable to fly. He was a year old when he came to us. He was a very different looking bird. It takes 5 years for these birds to mature and get that white head and tail and yellow beak. Called the bald eagle not because he's bald, but bald is the old English word meaning white, or white-headed eagle. When he came to us, as I said, he was a very different looking bird. He was pretty much totally brown with dark brown eyes and a black beak. And he had white splotches here and there on his belly, on his back, and under his wings. Every year we got to watch this bird change into the bird you see here today. His beak started to turn yellow at about the age of 2 from the base out. At about the age of 3, his head started to turn sort of a gray color. Those tail feathers dropped out, and they grew in each year with a little more white. Until about the age of 5, we have our mature bald eagle with the white head and white tail. His eyes are still a little dark. Many eagles that you see, their eyes are very light colored, almost the color of their beak. His stayed dark. We don't know why that does happen in some eagles. So this is a bird we are lucky to be seeing on the East Coast. As they were extirpated, they were gone from the East Coast due to something we used called DDT, an insecticide in the 50s and 60s that worked very well to kill bugs, but it worked its way to the top of the food chain to our apex predators. And while it did not kill them outright, it depleted their calcium, leaving their eggs not viable. They'd sit on the eggs and they'd crush under the weight of the parents, or the embryos themselves were deformed. So in 1972, the feds banned DDT, and we did captive breeding, bringing eagles from out west where not as much DDT was used, and breeding them in captivity, letting their young loose, first along the Hudson River in big eagle condominiums, hack boxes, feeding them, letting them loose in the morning, They come back to roost in those boxes at night until they are independent. They repeated those actions at the Quabbin Reservoir in Massachusetts, and that is where a lot of our Connecticut birds came from today. There is a nest probably about every 2 miles on the Connecticut River, and there's a good population of them now, although they remain threatened in the state. Their nests are pretty amazing. They are about 6 foot wide, 9 foot deep on average, although one took the Guinness Book of World Records by being about 9 foot across and about 12 foot deep. They usually nest near a body of water because they are a big fish eater. That big hooked bill is used for ripping and tearing, and those feet, the feathers stop up above their ankles to keep them dry. And they have special ridges on the bottom of their feet to hold those slippery fish. Although fish are not the only thing this bird eats, they are also known to be a scavenger. But they will take all sorts of whatever they can get. They are an opportunistic hunter. They will take mammals, they will take shorebirds, they will take snakes, and they will also eat carrion. They will eat dead things. This can particularly pose a problem for these birds in late winter, early spring, when lakes and rivers are still thawing. They've been frozen over and they have no access to the fish. So if they come upon a deer carcass, say that has been shot by a hunter, and there's any lead left in it, lead is very soft, it scatters. Takes a piece of lead, no bigger than a grain of rice, to kill a bird this size. So if they feed on a carcass that has not been cleaned properly, or a deer that has perhaps gotten away from a hunter, these birds can unfortunately be poisoned by that. It's a pretty slow death. It's a neurotoxin. These birds become very weak. It affects their eyesight. It affects their internal organs. It's found that birds that have a higher lead level in them have a higher incidence of flying into power lines and into cars. It can be reversed, sometimes successfully. Sometimes these birds have lasting side effects, poor sight, or they're not coordinated and they cannot be released back into the wild. Easy fix, get the lead out. Pennies on the dollar to buy alternative ammo for hunting. We know Akka is a male due to his size. In the raptor world, females are generally about a third larger than the male, and that goes true for the eagle. Akka's about 9 pounds. We know he's a male bald eagle. In this area, these birds, the females can get upwards of 12 pounds, usually with about a 6 foot wingspan. Up in colder climates, like Alaska, the females can easily go upwards of 14 or more pounds with a 7 foot wingspan. So we're very lucky to be looking at this bird. He is our nation's symbol. Supposedly Ben Franklin wanted a turkey, but this bird was chosen for its good looks, his longevity. They've been known to live over 40 years in captivity, and that's if they make it through the first year of life. It's tough out there being a raptor. About 80% of all raptors don't make it through their first year of life. Only about 12% of eagles reach their adulthood, their mature age of 5 years. But after that, they may live a good long time. So due to his good looks, their longevity, and their strength, about 400 to 500 PSI on this glove today, he's been chosen as our nation's symbol. And it is one that we're really lucky to be having here and to be able to see in Connecticut.
All right, so I hope everybody got to enjoy ADCA. All right, so as we continue, if you'd like more information about Horizon Wings, the information is there on the screen. And I know we also have some places here in Ohio and in Pennsylvania as well. If it's a career or something you are more interested in learning about in your 4-H project, we'll highlight kind of some of the outdoor projects, bird projects that we offer here in 4-H here at the conclusion. So I will turn things over to Aaron. See where he's at. Aaron was having some connectivity problems to get us started. So
hello.
These are some of the, there you are. Hi, Aaron.
Hi, I'm trying to get on computer so that I can I don't know why our Wi-Fi crashed like right before this meeting, or like right when the meeting was starting. But anyway, I can and so you might see like another sign-in request from me. I'm trying to join. Yeah, there we go. Awesome. So can you hear me? Like, can you see me twice now or something?
Abby, can you see where he's at?
I don't want to leave it on my phone, and hopefully you guys can still hear.
So while Aaron's getting that figured out, and Abby is, on your screen is the direct links to more information about the Ashtabula County Eagles. So the Lakeside Eagle Cam, and Aaron's going to talk a little bit more about that when we get that up. And then the direct link to kind of some of the YouTube video highlights that Aaron shared with me. And there's some screen grabs of what both of those look like as well. So if you're looking for local information about the County Eagles, that's a good place to start. So we get that figured out?
I cannot do anything right now.
Aaron,
Hello? Can anybody hear me?
there we go. I made you co-host on that
I
account.
can't hear you guys.
We can hear you. So
Jenna, can you hear me? If you can you do thumbs up? Okay. All right. So I can't hear myself, and I can't hear any of you. So, oh well. I started the Lakeside Eagle Cam in actually 3 years ago. We started the camera, but we had a ton of technical difficulties, and it only ran last year. It ran from January 1st, 2020 until June 26th. I don't know if any of you 4-H people have seen the camera or watched it. I think a few of you have last season. Oh, hey Toe, can you grab me that calendar? It's sitting up on the couch. Thanks. Anyway, I don't know if anybody had questions about it, but we successfully watched a pair of eagles named, and we named them, the Lakeside students named them Pride and Joy. We had like a kind of an election to name the kid, or name the eagles, and it was just really cool to get to name them and watch them, make their nest, and which the nest was already there, but they did a lot of nestorations to it, and then watch them, thank you, lay their eggs, and then they lay those eggs, and then you're just like, hoping nothing happens to them, and everything went great. The eggs hatched right when they were supposed to, and we had 2 little babies, and got to watch them grow up, which they grow so fast. It's amazing. They eat a ton of food every day, and it was just really neat to see that all happening. Right now the camera is not working, but if you go to our website, which Jenna put up there on the slide presentation, you can watch like highlights, and you can watch every little bit of video that we streamed last year. So yes, so if you have Kahoot, the easiest way to play the Kahoot is going to be on your phone or on your iPad. That's going to be the easiest way to play it. I'm not even sure how I can do it on this computer. I was all set to go on my little Chromebook, and then things went bad for me. But I guess if I'm on a wired connection, it works. So let me just get signed in here. So here's what I was gonna do for the Kahoot game. There's 12 questions. and there it's about Eagles in general and also the Lakeside Eagle Cam. And so the way that Kahoot works, if you've never played it before, is it's either multiple choice or true and false, and there's a timer. And so the faster you answer questions, the more points you get. And I think you get points for answering questions in a row. So it should be pretty fun. And then the big grand prize is we made a calendar. It's kind of hard to see, but we made a calendar, a 2020 calendar with all pictures from our Eagle Cam inside of it. And then, you know, it's a wall calendar. So whoever wins, I would say get your information to Jenna, and then I'll mail you a calendar for free. So a $20 value. So should I start the game now? So I think I'll share my screen. Is that right? And then they can all right. It'll be easier if you play on your app, but you know, it's possible. Okay, so oh man, this computer is too nice it's too cool for me. I don't even know what I'm doing here. Okay.
Aaron's going to share the game pin here in 1 second. So once he gets it up, he'll share that pin with everybody.
Shoot, I don't even have any way to know if you're seeing my screen. Hopefully you are. Otherwise, I will just say the code. So if you go to www.kahoot.it, and then you're going to type in, if you can't see it, there's a pin. It's going to ask you for a pin, and the pin is 9036838. If you can see my screen, you'll see that. And if you have the app, then you just go to the Kahoot app. And oh, I see Lily is playing, Harley, Suzanne, Riley. Oh yeah, you guys have got this. I got all kinds of people jumping in here. And it keeps score during the game, so we'll be able to see who's winning. Hopefully we don't have a tie. We have 17 people in the game. Hopefully, oh yeah, look at this. You guys are tech savvy. I'm sure Michael could join the game and destroy all of us and beat us. You can't see my screen? Uh-oh. Let me see what I can do. Oh, I see. Okay, gotcha. I think now, can you see my screen? Yes, you can. Okay, great. Now I just got to find out where my game is. Must be here. Toe, can you help me? I minimized Google Chrome and now I don't see it anymore. Huh? Alt tab. Where's the tab button? Oh, I see. Well, wait. I want that one. Yay. All right, now you guys can see it. Okay, cool. Oh my gosh. How does he do this? My son has a thing where he streams live. So I've got 23 players. Does that sound about right? Is there anybody who wants in that's not in yet? I'm going to start it. Oh, neat. I can do that. Wow. All right, cool. All right, I'm going to start it in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I don't know if there's music. There's supposed to be music. But...
So what are the names of the eagles on the Lakeside Eagle Cam?
Ooh, 19 people got it right. Faith is in the lead, followed by Andy and Summer and a bunch of other people. Question 2.
How long does it take a bald eagle to hatch?
Five seconds left. All right, 15 of you listen to what Michael said. Summer is now in the lead. True or false?
So bald eagles have a white head and tail starting when they're 1 year old.
Woohoo, 23 of you got that one right. That was a trick question, kind of. There's more trick questions. Summer is still in the lead, closely followed by Ben and Lexi. Oh, you had to watch the camera to know this one.
What did they name the
our
eaglets that hatch?
beautiful little babies, little pinheads? There's a picture of them on April 11th. What would you name your eaglets? Wow, 14 people knew that one. Or no, only 2 people knew that one. 14 of you would have named them something else. Oh, wow. Aubrey has rocketed into the lead. How many feathers does the bald eagle have? Oh, man, we did not cover this information. I never knew this one. That's our beautiful Joy right there. We also called her Speckles because she has a speckly look. All right, 12 of you guys got that right. I like it. All right, and who's in the lead? Summer is back in the lead. Oh, I hope you paid attention to what Michael was saying. All right, 11 of you guys. Summer is still in the lead. Andy's creeping up, and so is Lily.
How many bald eagle nests in 2020 in
There's
Ohio?
a picture of Joy with a fish. All right, 12 of you heard that information today. Summer is still in the lead. Andy and Lily. Lily is on a streak with 5 in a row. Here we go. Question number 8. An adult bald eagle's wingspan is... This one, we had we had a lot of people say B, I think because the number 9 came up in that video presentation, but I think the average wingspan is 7.5 feet. So please don't be mad at me if you got that wrong. And maybe you think I got it wrong. Maybe I did. But I think the average male is around 6 and the average female is around 7.5. I should have put the word average in there. You can be mad at me. Summer's not mad. Here we go. Number 9. Oh, interesting. I don't know if this was covered either. Kind of have to know the whole process to know this. Yes, the bald eagles don't swallow their food whole unless it's some small little mouse or something. They rip it up into pieces, but they eat everything. They eat the bones and everything of a fish. There's nothing left when they're done. Oh, Andy has taken over the lead, followed by Lily and Summer. It's anybody's game here. We got question 10 coming up. How can you tell a male from a female? Do the males have a deeper voice? They might. If you can get them to talk. Females are bigger. Yes, nice. 22 people. All right. Who's in the lead? Still Andy. Came from behind to take the top spot. Kind of like Michigan beating Ohio State at basketball today. True or false? Ooh, you had to watch the camera to know this one. Who sat on it more? Or was it equal? Yeah, it was false. So Joy sat on them all night, every day for 35 days. She was on those eggs. It was like really about 37 days because the second egg was laid 3 days after the first one. And she was on those eggs every single night. And Pride was nearby. He was close by the nest, but he never sat on the eggs at night. He sometimes stayed at the nest at night after the babies were born, but he never spent a single night on that nest with the eggs. It was always her. And then she would wake up and call him in the morning. She would stand on the edge of the nest and call, and then he would show up usually about a minute or two after she called him. And then she'd go take a break, do a little treetop yoga, go hunting or fishing, and then she would come back and take over again. He did his part, but she definitely spent probably about, I bet, 60-70% of the time on those eggs. But they are good parents. They never left him alone. All right, Andy in the lead, Summer and Lily and Summer right behind him. Here we go. Question 11, 12. Oh, last question. How much food does an eaglet need each day? What do you think? 6 ounces, 12 ounces, a pound of food? Or do they only eat every other day? Pride knows the answer to this. He spent a lot of time feeding them. Wow, nice job, you guys. A pound of food every day. That's right. All right, who's the winner? Summer in 3rd place. 8 out of 12, right? Lily, 9 out of 12. And who's in 1st? Andy. Andy, 1st place. Amazing. Wow, you guys, you did amazing. I hope you guys had fun. Did you have fun playing that game? I had a lot of fun making it. Yeah, and here's all the answers. So the babies are named Raindrop and Nestor. And Raindrop, I named her Raindrop because she hatched during a rainstorm, thunder, lightning, everything. And then the person who guessed the closest to when the first egg was laid, they got to name They got to name the second baby. So you guys, I'm sorry that the camera is not running this year. It's broken. But we are hoping for sure to get it going again for next year. So when we do that, join in, watch the camera, join in the chat, and then we will I don't know what to do. Anyway, we will we'll have another contest to guess who can or to see who can guess when the eggs are laid, closest to when the eggs are laid, and those people will get to name the next batch of eaglets that we have. So something to look forward to for 2022. All right, I will hush now and let Jenna take over. But you guys, I hope you enjoyed that, and thank you. And let me know if you have any questions.
Perfect. Thanks, Aaron. And I don't know if you can still hear us. So I'd really like to thank Michael and Aaron for their help today. And Andy, if you can send me a private message with your address, I will go ahead and get that over to Aaron to make sure that you get your calendar. So congratulations. Thanks everybody for participating. We hope you had some fun. So I want to share with you guys just a couple of resources as we wrap up. If you are interested in learning more about Ohio birds or explore the outdoors, there are a handful of projects, but these are the two that really come to mind when we talk about outdoor education, and again, Ohio birds and exploring the outdoors. So these are the two Ohio 4-H projects I would recommend for you if it's something that interests you. There's also some great field guides that are available. You can see the resources that are there on the screen if you want to learn more about birds in Ohio. All right, so I'm going to stop screen sharing at this point. If you guys have any questions for Aaron or Michael, please feel free to go ahead and drop those in the chat. If you didn't give us your name and who's with you today at home, please go ahead and do so, and we'll make sure that your club knows that you were here today as well. So if you don't have any other questions, that concludes our meeting, but you're welcome to stay on and talk with Michael and talk with Aaron or Abby and I as well. So if not, our next countywide meeting will be in March. So everybody stay well.